I'm going to ask you a question real quick. Who would like to make some money? If you didn't raise your hand, could we move the other people up front? I mean, who would like to make a lot of money? Well, you know, the last couple of days, you've learned a lot of the how-tos and all that. You know, I'm going to really talk about what drives, what I think is the part that's going to distinguish you from somebody else. This is going to be, I'm going to get down and dirty. Is that okay? I'm going to talk about what I think we need to be doing, whether you like it or not. Because I'm going to assume that if you're here, you're wanting to change your life, and I'm all about changing lives. I think that's what we're all about. For you guys that don't know, high school basketball coach. I taught algebra, coached basketball, Lakeview High School in Garland, Texas. Loved it, did it with a passion, felt like I helped kids, sponsored the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Never made much money. Do we have any educators in the house? If there's an educator in here, I'll get an amen for that one. Didn't know what I was going to do. A friend of mine showed me this business. I just knew that I liked essential services. I knew a residual income sounded intriguing, so I decided to give it a shot. Got in with the goal to make $1,000 a month. Thought, boy, if I can make $1,000 a month, I can pay some bills. Jeannie and I were struggling. By the way, my bride is in the back. Guys, give it up for Miss Jeannie Swagerty, please. She deserves a medal. She's put up with me for 38 years. Can you guys believe that? My gosh. Started talking to people, you know, and, you know, this business is so simple. That's what's crazy. It's not easy, but it's simple. So I just started talking to people. Got a few yeses, a few nos. It started growing. Took me a little while. But, man, I got a check that had a comma, and I was all pumped up. But I used to go to church with a guy named Zig Ziglar, and Zig would always say, go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you're going to be able to see further. Well, Zig was right. We hit that $1,000 mark, and then I just kept setting new goals, and we'd hit that one, and I'd set another goal, and we'd hit that one, and your mind will start expanding, and I'll talk a little bit about that today. But guys, you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish, because I tell folks nowadays that mine and Jeannie's reality is better than our dreams used to be. And it's because of this amazing opportunity. It's not that I'm anything special. I grew up in the ghettos, no dad. Mom worked in a sewing factory. There were 2 murders and a rape within 7 houses. That's how I grew up. And I mean, I don't apologize for it. We were a happy family, and I'm the man I am because of my mama. But I'm telling you what, we can all do this. And that's the thing that I'm going to try to get across to all of us right now. All right, I'm going to get into the meat of it. My topic today is we need to make a decision. It's time that we really make a decision, because I'm going to dare say that probably 2/3 of us in this room are just kind of playing with this business. We want to do good, but we're not really into it. We're not really focused. We hadn't really made that decision to do what it takes to be successful in this business. Here's your first decision. There's going to be 5 of them. 1, you need to make a decision that the buck stops here. You need to look in the mirror and say, if it's to be, it's up to me. We need to quit making excuses, because I'm going to tell you right now, we all have excuses. We can all come up with some gym dandies, and they even sound good, but you know what? All it's going to do is keep you from accomplishing what you want to accomplish with your life. It's going to just keep you from showing your kids and grandkids that somebody with your last name can do things. You've got to decide that I don't give a rat's rear what happened in the past. Do you realize that everybody in this room, and let's get real now, none of us could pick our parents, could we? We couldn't even pick what country we popped out in. We couldn't pick what color our skin is. We couldn't pick anything. We're just here, poop, popped out, there they are, that's mom and dad. With me, I popped out and it, boop, there's mom. Dad was off chasing somebody probably, you know, dad wasn't around. I got 50-50, you know, I got the 50%. Luckily I got a good 50%, huh? But guys, what we've got to understand, we don't pick where we come from, and the other thing we don't pick, guys, is this. I'm going to tell you right now, everybody look up here. You know, I think we all need to understand this, because I think sometimes we get down on ourselves. Do you realize we got a massive auditorium here with thousands of people? Do you realize there's not a soul in here that doesn't have some dirty laundry? And if somebody's sitting there saying, I don't have any dirty laundry, you're lying. So we can't pick where we come from, and we've all made a few mistakes in our lives. I told somebody the other day that I have so many skeletons in my closet I can barely fit my clothes in, you know. I mean, it just is what it is. But you know, thankfully, I've learned a little bit along the way, and I try not to make the same mistakes over and over again. But what we've got to understand is we've got to quit making those excuses. I learned a long time ago, you can make excuses or you can make money. But Brian, what? You can't make both. So we've got to understand, if we really want to change our lives, we're going to have to stop making the excuses. We got to quit thinking up stuff that's going on and just try to just put that behind us and understand success in any business that you get in is going to be all about your focus. We've got an opportunity right now between what this company gives us to work with, which is amazing, and with the economy dipping right now, guys, we've got a chance to kill this. But it's going to take you getting in the game. I mean, you can't stand on the sideline and watch any longer. You're going to have to put the uniform on, get in the game, and let's start playing the game right now. And you say, well, you don't understand. I work. Okay, that's great. You work. So did I. You know what? We can all find time to do what we think's important in our life. Do you understand this isn't another job? You're not clocking in and out. You don't have a boss looking over your shoulder. It's going to be up to you to just fit it in the nooks and crannies of your busy schedule. But my theory on that is, if I feel like getting up and going and giving my boss 8 to 10 hours to make their dreams come true, I can squeeze out an hour a day to make my dreams come true, yes or yes? You know, that's what we've got to understand. We got to find time to do it instead of trying to make excuses on why not to do it. Yeah, I want to change my life. No, I don't have time to go to that meeting. No, I can't go to those big events. No, I don't really have time to make any phone calls. No, I don't really want to talk to strangers. No, I don't want to... Then just accept life is what it is, and it ain't going to get any better if that's going to be your attitude. Because again, anything worth having, guys, is worth working for. We've got to decide we're going to put out the effort, and I'm going to tell you right now, let's make a decision that we're going to say that the buck stops here, and let's get rid of that victim mentality. You know, I could use victim mentality. I literally grew up in the ghettos. Boy, that would have been a good one, wouldn't it? Grew up in the ghettos. That sounds good. So I'm not going to do anything. What about I don't have a dad? My dad wasn't in my life, so that's a good one too. I could say I don't have a dad, and that would be a good one. You know, I could think up a bunch of them. My gosh, we had no money. We were just struggling to get food. I mean, I had a bunch of good excuses. But you know, if you're born unsuccessful, if you're born broke, that's not your fault. But if you die that way, it is your fault. And that's what we've got to come to grips with, is we got to quit blaming everybody and everything else and understand we've got to do what we got to do. And are we going to have issues along the way? Yes. Is every customer going to go in perfect? Is every IBO going to do what they say they're going to do? No. Who gives a rat's rear? We're just looking for the ones that are looking. And we'll get it fixed if it needs to be fixed. That's what I'm talking about. The other thing is, or the second decision, we got to decide to grow as a person. We've got to decide to grow. If you want more, you've got to become more. You don't chase success. You attract success by the person you become. I'm a terrible reader. Terrible reader. I mean, comprehension, my gosh, I got to read it 3 times to halfway get it. Anybody relate to that? You know, I'll read a whole page and I'll sit up and I'll go, what did I just read? You know what I do now? I got audiobooks, and I mean, I listen. They read to me. Did you know they can do that nowadays on your phone? As I'm driving, guess what I'm doing? I'm listening to a good book. Think and Grow Rich, or Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, or I could, anything by, Zig Ziglar, any of those personal growth giants. I'm listening to that stuff because I'm trying to grow, because our circumstances are because of our actions, and our actions are because of our thoughts. So if we want to change our lives, it starts up here. Man, I grew up in the ghettos. We were doing stuff we shouldn't be doing. I was running with people I shouldn't be running with. I had to get that crap out of my mind and get some good stuff in my mind so I knew what to do with my life. You need to read a little bit, huh? Read some. I mean, let's get to reading. And I don't even like to read, but I'll read, as I'm driving, I have them read to me. If I'm working out in the gym, I have my headphones on, and people think I'm listening to Creedence Clearwater Revival or something. But no, I'm listening to a book most of the time. If I'm doing something around the house, I'm listening to a book. I'm changing the way I think. I'm trying to grow as a person. Other thing, my gosh, instead of watching the time-wasting electronic income reducer that a lot of people call TV, yeah, y'all know that thing. Instead of doing that, why don't we watch some personal growth giants on YouTube? Zig Ziglar, Stephen Covey, Les Brown, Jim Rohn. I mean, I can just go down the list of people that I watch. Man, if you want to get pumped up, watch Art Williams' Just Do It speech. Art Williams' Just Do It speech. Anytime I'm down a little bit, I watch it and I'm all pumped up again. Guys, why don't we do that? You know the big one? Who you running with? Who you running with? Let me ask you again, who you running with? Do you understand? I used to pull my team together and I'd talk to them and I'd say, guys, make good grades, show respect, dress properly. I mean, all the stuff you'd think I'd talk to a basketball team about. But I'd always look at them and I'd say, you show me who you run with and I'm going to show you who you are or who you're going to be. Do you realize that applies to us? If we're running with people that are going somewhere, then we're going to believe we can go somewhere, because if they're positive, you're going to be positive. If they're negative, you're going to be negative. It's next to impossible for you to be positive if you're running with negative people. You got to read a little bit. You got to watch some personal growth giants, and you got to run with winners, and all of a sudden your attitude will start changing. Your mindset will start changing. You'll start realizing that you can do anything that you set your mind to. Folks, we're created in God's image, and he put greatness in us, but the sad part is most of us will go to that grave with that greatness still in there because we're scared to get out of our comfort zone. All right, the buck stops here. We got to make a decision that we want to grow as a person. Number 3, we got to make a decision that we're going to be a person of action. You've heard that from several people this weekend, that you got to take action. You can have the greatest thoughts in the world. You can have the greatest plans in the world. You can have goals out the wazoo, but if you're not doing anything, nothing's going to happen. You know what? I don't even know if I can get it out because I got so many wires on me. If you can get your phone, hold it up right now. Hold your phone up right now. Just hold it up right there. Okay, I see most of them. Do you realize for most of you folks in here, there's a fortune in that phone, in that contact list? But here's how we look at that. We get that contact list and we go, yeah, I need to make a few calls. No, she wouldn't want to do it. No, he wouldn't. He's too successful. Oh my gosh, if I said something to them, what would they think of me? Amen or oh me? Do you realize, here's the deal, if we'd take action, you know what we would do? We'd get our phone and just start going person by person down that contact list, calling them, going, hey, I found something that I think can change our life. Jump on this Zoom for 30 minutes. Watch this video for 10 minutes. I'm going to meet you for coffee in 30 minutes. Whatever, guys. Do you realize we just got to get the plan in front of people? Your fortune... Sorry, Dave, I shouldn't have said the word fortune. Y'all forgive me, okay? Your chance at a fortune. I hope I covered myself. I don't want to get my termination letter, you know what I mean? It's right here. You got to quit being scared of this. You got to quit being scared of your contact list, and you got to say, I'm going to do this. That's really what it's going to boil down to. You got to be a person of action, guys. Here's the whole thing that we really need to grasp. I mean, we really need to grasp this, and that is start running with people that are going the direction you want to go. Because do you realize if you're running with a bunch of chickens, do you realize you're scratching at the ground and you're fighting over crumbs? If you're running with eagles, guys, we're flying to great heights. I want to run with eagles. What about you? I want to go to great heights. I got to get away from those people that keep telling me it can't be done. I don't want to hear that because I know it can. You just heard 3 examples of 3 beautiful ladies that stand here and talk about how they've accomplished it in spite of all the obstacles that they had to go through. How about working 80 hours a week for $700? Think it through. But, you know, we're too pretty sometimes. We don't, oh, my gosh, what will they think if I call them? I can think of millions of reasons why I'm thankful that people call me. Guys, you got to understand, we've got a chance to do something crazy good right now. This company is rocking right now, and you ain't seen nothing yet. We're going to be back in coliseums and stadiums and arenas here in no time. And my question is, are you going to get your little piece of that? Or are you just going to sit on the sideline and go, man, I should have made those calls like Presley said? Guys, the buck stops with you. The buck stops with me. We got to quit making excuses. Number two, we got to grow as a person. Come on, don't give me you can't do it. When you're driving around, listen a little bit. When you're sitting at home, read a little bit. When you're, instead of watching TV, you realize the average American scrolls the internet or watches TV 6 hours a day? My theory on watching TV is I don't want to watch millionaires having fun. I wanted to be a millionaire having fun. We're not going to be a millionaire having fun if we're watching TV all the time. Ask Jeannie, our TV, we very seldom turn our TV on. It'll go weeks without turning it on. What about you? A lot of people come home, turn that thing on, flop in that easy chair and sit there for the next 6, 8 hours, jump in bed, and then start it all over the next day. Guys, I'm telling you, I know I'm preaching to the choir here because everybody in here, I'm guessing, is motivated, and I'm sure hoping you are. But it's time that we say the buck stops here. It's time that we start growing as a person, and it's time we take action. My fourth point, there's only 5. My fourth point, we got to be passionate. Do you realize if you run around like a negative, dull, disillusioned, frustrated crybaby, ain't nobody going to want to join your team? You know what gets people on your team? Your belief, because when they're with you, your belief starts seeping out. And all of a sudden, they start getting excited because they believe what you believe then all of a sudden. But if you've sat there going, well, I don't know if this is going to work, but, you know, if you can find 30 minutes, you might want to look at it. Maybe not, you know. Amen or oh me on that one. Do you realize you got to look them in the eye and tell them you have found the best thing since sliced bread? I need 30 minutes for you to look at a video, or I need 30 minutes for you to jump on a Zoom, or I need 30 minutes to have lunch with you. Do you realize it's going to be our belief? And you say, well, Presley, that's easy for you. You made all that money. Yeah? But you know what? When I started, I had no business partners. I had no customers. And I was driving an 84 Mazda B2000 that was beat to heck up. And when I did a meeting in person, I'd park 2 blocks away because I didn't want anybody to see my vehicle because I'm telling them how they can make money and I'm driving a piece of crap. You know what got me here? My belief. I didn't have it, but I believed I could do it. Just like you need to be believing you can do it too. You've got to understand you can do anything you set your mind to. The buck stops here. We got to grow as a person. We got to take action. And I'm going to tell you right now, probably the biggest one is the passionate deal. It's your posture when you're talking to people that's going to determine your success, guys. Your posture is going to make the difference. If you come in with a strong posture, you can do anything. But if you're begging people, quit begging them. Hey, if they, you know, here's my theory. If I got to beg you to go get rich with me, you're the wrong person. I mean, that's how I look at this. I'm not going to beg you. Hey, I got it. I got the goose that laid the golden egg. Do you want some of this or not? Do you realize that's got to be our attitude when we're talking to people? My gosh, we got a company that's amazing. We got services that are off the chart. Why would we back into that? Why would we apologize for what we got our hands on? We've seen lots of people doing successful things, making money, all that stuff. Why would we apologize to anybody for this? If they don't want it, it's their loss, not ours. Do you understand that? My gosh, we got 330 million people here in America, and we got billions in our other 26 countries. I mean, there's people everywhere. Go find somebody that's motivated. You know, most people are average, and they want to stay average. All right, you know the first 4. I'm not going to repeat them again. My last one is never quit. Never quit. You know, I've had more people tell me about this comment that I made, and I'm going to say it doesn't really fit here, but I want to throw it in, and I don't have but about a minute and a half left. You know, I signed a guy named Mark Dean up, and we were buying a car for my daughter. He was the sales guy. We closed the deal. I said, do you look at other ways to make money? He said, yes. I took him to Jason's Deli, showed him a plan. He gets in. To make a long story short, he's put in over 100,000 IBOs. Now, here's the point. I was tired that day. I almost didn't say something that day. Here's my thought process. When you walk past somebody, are you walking past Mark Dean? See, my thought process now is after I experience that, I'm thinking, am I walking past a fortune? Because you don't know who the next person is that's going to be the next superstar in this business. Let's get real, guys. Who's going to be the next? You don't know. Talk to everybody. Give them a chance. If they don't say yes, that's fine. Next. But never, ever quit. Here's my challenge to all of us. My challenge to all of us is the next time I see you, I want you to be able to tell me you went through every flipping name in your phone and offered them a chance to change their lives. Guys, billionaires do deals all day long and they got more money than they can spend. Just because somebody's successful doesn't mean they don't want to try something new with residual income. Quit thinking people are too frickin' successful. I struggled until I started going to successful people. My doctor's in, my dentist is in, my CPA's in, my banker's in, my attorney's in. I started going to people with influence and all of a sudden my business exploded. When I was going to broke Uncle Harry, nothing happened. So here it is. I challenge us all. Let's draw a line in the sand and let's make a decision. We're going to stand in the gap for our family. Let's make a decision that we're going to stand in the gap for the people with our last name. Let's show the people with our last name that we can do something special. My gosh, give it to this. Between now and October when we have Elevate in Orlando, guys, give it everything you got and let's see where we are. See, this is going to happen with or without any of us. I believe with all my heart there'll be two groups of us. There's going to be the group that's glad they did, and there's going to be the group that wishes they had. God bless you guys.